Greetings, Commanders! Welcome to another Plasma video. We are making a new Plasma video because new information has come to light. This will probably be my fourth Plasma video. Plasma is just a tough hero to really simulate his damage and to try to figure out how he actually works in a real high-level PvP scenario. Unlike calculating damage where you can just put damage gear on him, attack a monster, switch the damage gear up, attack a monster, and compare the values, Plasma requires high-level combat to really see how the damage and gear works out. So, after literally months of waiting for the perfect opportunity to send my Plasma full force at somebody, I finally got it. So, thanks to the guys over at AAA, I was able to use my Plasma full force against a golem that had 3 rows of serious tier 10 airships. So I didn't get to hit all 6 rows, just 3 rows. But what I really wanted to see, because of my last video, I was talking about how Plasma's HP limits his second ability's bomb damage. And going back to this video series, there's 2 ways to play Plasma. There's the pure Plasma bomb, where you literally just use him as a suicide bomber. You don't expect him to dodge. You don't expect him to score any points with basic hits. He just goes in, explodes, and hits the commander. Or you build him as a combat Plasma. And I was always of the mind that there were 2 different distinctions there. Like, they were just 2 different playstyles, and that's the way it was. And as a person that would maybe have lower tier than your opponent, the Bomber Plasma makes a lot of sense, because if you're 2 tiers lower than somebody with your tier 7 versus their tier 9 or something, you're not going to dodge them. Plasma's first 40% skill is not going to trigger. You're just going to get hit, you know? I mean, it'll trigger, but you won't be able to dodge. You'll just get one shot, which is how you want to build Plasma, kind of a glass cannon with dodge, enough HP to make sure you get your value out of Quantum Blast, but more so out of your dodge. So if you're 2 tiers lower, you think the bomber strategy is good, but with tier suppression, tier 9 versus tier 7, you do not want to use Plasma against somebody who's using tier suppression. Even if it's not full 100% tier suppression, still any tier suppression is going to really minimize your gains with your Plasma bomb. So unless they're using 6 rows of troops or 6 slots of troops, and you're within 1 or 2 tiers, I probably don't recommend even using bomb Plasma. But back in the days of tier 2 versus tier 2, or before tier suppression, that was a viable build. But now it's all about combat Plasma. So let's talk about combat Plasma, how to get the most out of him after all the intel and knowledge we've gathered over the months. And that's what this video is going to be essentially about. How to get the most out of your high-level Plasma against equally matched or opponents that are less than you. So first things first, you don't need that much leadership on Plasma. I run mine at 9,000 because I send him against other people's mains and occasionally against other people's Plasmas. And that's where this gets important. See, I need my gear to be more effective against other people's Plasmas than I do against their mains, because the gear doesn't change much and my effectiveness doesn't change much against their mains as much as my gear affects my equal matchups versus other Plasmas. So that being said, we have to remember that Energy Transfer and Quantum Blast do not get affected by crit damage. That means Skywalker and Eye of Abyss are technically not very good on Plasma. Now, we love the accuracy of Eye of Abyss, and we love the accuracy of Skywalker, but that crit damage does not affect our first and second skill. So we're better off going pure damage Apocalyptor, pure damage Devastation, and getting our accuracy from gems on the weapons or gems in the helms, and 2 guaranteed hit skills. So, to get the most out of those skills, you do the pure damage, right? And then also for pants, you don't want to use Magiwell pants. The only damage pants in the game are Magiwell. Well, Plasma's quantum or energy transfer skill needs to dodge in order to trigger. So dodge on the pants is important. So double dodge gems, perfect. And then your chest piece could be a void for more dodge, right? You could get void here. But I have found, because Quantum Blast is delimited by HP, that what Black Knight offers compared to the dodge that Void offers, I think that I would rather get the HP from gems on the Black Knight and the stats from the Black Knight and gain the tier suppression than I would just the raw dodge ability from the from the Void. Now, I do love the Void's dodge, but I do feel like I get enough dodge off just my pants alone to make me viable against other plasmas and airships, but not walkers. And adding a Void is not going to make me viable against walkers. So I'm still going to be weak to guaranteed hit skills and gems. So I opt for the bonus Black Knight there with the extra tier suppression because that seems to work pretty well for me. Is it best in slot? It's up for interpretation. It's a trade-off. This is a utility commander. He's not a main commander. So that tier suppression helps out when I'm defending allies or just defending my own arc. That tier suppression is very important to me. So that's how I run him. If you want to take it and try it a different way, that's totally up to you. But undoubtedly, Devastation's best in slot. Double Apocalyptors are best in slot. Nixop Pants are best in slot for a battle plasma. Chess piece, Void or Black Knight, your call. Okay. When it comes to gems, I also like to go with 2 guaranteed hit skills. Now, Libra is the 10% tier suppression gem, and it also has a 20% chance to trigger and counter all attacks. Well, a lot of what Plasma does is counter attacks. He is dodging. Not always, and this you have to be alive for this to trigger, and the more troops that are alive, the better, and it's just basic damage hit 100. But I really like the utility of the tier suppression there. I do like that Plasma is better at most commanders at getting value out of Libra because he's constantly dodging. So I think Libra's a nice fit for him. Is Sagittarius a better, harder hitting gem? Yeah, maybe. Maybe against airships you'll get more value out of just, rough hits or big hits on airships. But, it's how much do you really gain by losing that utility feature? If I'm already going for utility on the Black Knight, I'm going to go for the utility on the Libra as well. And then for gems, I think Gemini is sadly, even though it's a less hard-hitting gem, it is a guaranteed hit and it's a double strike. And what I love about Gemini's double strike is when I go against other plasmas, I usually try to have slightly less. If they send, 100 units per slot, I want to send about 50 to 60 units per slot. And when I trigger a Gemini, I don't one-shot them. Because if I blow them up, then they blow up for full HP. Now remember, Quantum Blast is affected by the amount of troops that died when they got hit. So if you hit them twice, you can knock off half the troops. So when the bomb does go off, there were half as many troops there to trigger it. It hits you less hard. So I think Gemini's a better fit there than most gems. Yeah, you could go for harder hitting and just try to knock big chunks off if you know for sure that you're always going to be going against armies that you wouldn't one-shot anyway. But I like the utilitarian feature of this plasma. I like the Gemini. I like the Libra. And I think that's just the best way to go about it. Now, in my other video, I mentioned that Barrier was the better item because you can increase your damage cap on your Quantum Blast by increasing your HP with Barrier and just gem for damage or whatever. But in what I'm about to show you, this replay, I tried running it with Barrier, without Barrier, and I added 30% damage when I switched over to Skywalker from Barrier, and my damage went up. So I was not limited by my HP in these replays. I was still doing variable damage because I was capped. So it turns out in high-level replays, maximum gear, it seems like pure damage is better. Now also, having more HP on Plasma is not good because if you don't need it, if you're not getting value out of it, because if he survives a hit, he doesn't bomb as hard from other Plasmas. So anyway, he has a Gemini Awakening, blah, blah, blah. Full explosion there. The damage does vary from 5 troops to 7 troops killed per explosion. For the total of 56 killed Sirius with the Eternal Barrier on. So 21% attack we get from that. And then the only thing I change is just that Skywalker. Damage goes up about 30%, and I kill 59 instead of 56. So I'll show you both right there. 59 instead of 56. So I'm getting more out of my bomb by using that extra damage, despite all the research I've done that's showing that HP does provide more value in different setups. But at the highest level, at the level I'm at with the gear I have, I'm getting more value out of pure damage build. And it's the exact same attack, exact same explosion. So there it is. I mean, there's the proof. And that's really what I need from these videos, right? Proof to make my claims. So yeah, the Plasma Enigma, a lot of people figured this out a long time ago. I was told a long time ago, pure damage build is the best, but my research was telling me otherwise. But when I finally had the chance to put it all on paper, watch the replay and say, okay, what am I actually getting? This is what I found. So I don't really think I need any more accuracy on these gems. So anyway, before I go into that, I think I've figured out what I need to figure out from Plasma. This is my build. Attack on the gems, dodge, attack here, dodge here, HP here, for sure. No questions about it. Attack on the helmet, Dodge on the pants, HP on the chest piece. Whether you want Black Knight or Void, that's up to you. Best in slot is Apocalyptor. If you want accuracy because you always fight other plasmas or other dodgers, yeah, get the accuracy. But you'll probably get more value out of the attack because it works with these two skills. So I would say I have accuracy in all my gems. I think maybe attack is where I'll go with them. We'll see. I haven't fully committed to that yet. And I do like all the extra accuracy because it's nice to hit Stellas. You know, it's nice to... And that's who you run into the most, Stellas, right? And Stellas and other plasmas. You don't want to be totally dependent on your gems, but that's what I've found. So... also going against tier 11 as tier 10 is, or anything from tier 6 to tier 7, your accuracy drops 50% or so by going up a tier trying to hit them. So that's something to consider. You get more value out of your pure attack because that's not necessarily affected by tier unless they have tier suppression. So anyway, that is that's the renovated, updated, high-end, high-level proof replay that I think was deserving of this series and all the research we've done on plasma. So if you stuck around for this long, thanks for watching. I'm glad to have a community. I'm glad you guys are a part of it. I'm glad to share this stuff with you. So if you haven't joined the community, hit me up on Line, Line. It's a green app you can find in the App Store. It's free. My name is Melt AOW. I'll invite you to our channel. If you want to help the channel out, put a like and hit the bell icon and check the comments out below and the description below. I always add stuff later if I said something wrong or if I need to add something to it. So whether it be a year from now, just check it. I may have added something. So thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.